So here's another one that I really liked. Rockefeller seldom granted appointments to strangers and preferred to be approached in writing. Ever alert against industrial espionage, he never wanted people to know more than what was required and warned one colleague, and this is a quote from Rockefeller, I would be very careful about putting someone into a position where he could learn about our business and be troublesome to us. Um, End quote. Even close associates found him inscrutable and loath to reveal his thoughts. As one associate wrote, his long silences, so that we could not locate even his objections, were sometimes baffling, which is a pretty awesome quote. And then the Ron Chernow goes on to say, schooled in secrecy, he trained his face to be a stony mask, so that when underlings brought him telegrams, they couldn't tell from his expression whether the news was favorable or not. Rockefeller equated silence with strength. Weak men had loose tongues and blabbed to reporters, while prudent businessmen kept their own counsel. Two of his most cherished maxims were success comes from keeping the ears open and the mouth closed, and a man of words and not deeds is like a garden full of weeds. Big Bill's deaf and dumb routine curiously prefigured his son's habit of hearing as much. By the way, Big Bill is his father. Um, Big Bill's deaf and dumb routine curiously prefigured his son's habit of learning as much as possible and saying as little as possible to gain a tactical edge. And then here's my highlight. When bargaining, he employed his Midwest taciturnity to effect. Taciturnity just means, quietness, basically. Throwing people off stride and keeping them guessing. When angry, he tended to grow eerily quiet. He liked to tell how a blustering contractor stormed into his office and launched into a snarling tirade against him while he sat hunched over his writing desk and didn't look up until the man had exhausted himself. Then, spinning about in his swivel chair, he looked up and coolly asked, I didn't catch what you were saying. Would you mind repeating that? I think that whole passage is just absolutely
That,
like awesome.
yeah, the whole talk about talking and not talking as a sign of like, just kind of strength and power. I've thought a lot about this myself. The only thing is, if you get into a habit of not talking, you actually, I feel that your blade dulls a little bit. So I feel like you have to every now and then push out again and be confident expressing yourself and stuff, because if you get into this habit of self-disciplining yourself, oh, don't talk, don't talk, don't talk. It's almost like your quietness should come about because you're pissed off. And that's just how you naturally will become quiet, and stern, and people will get that aura from you. So my point is, maybe if anything, like don't try to necessarily like force yourself into this box and like self-discipline self like, oh, I have to not talk because then I'll be perceived as powerful. You have to first be powerful, and you have to have a strong, sharp blade first of power and competence, and then wield it appropriately. So I wouldn't my point is, don't try to just copycat. You have to be that guy and be him, be strong, be powerful. And then, yeah, don't be a fool, blabbering on.
I
So
100% agree. And I think one of the things that really sort of exemplifies this is the kind of so there's one thing I'll add here. There's this quote I heard a long time ago. It's basically power is choice. That's the quote. And basically what it means is just like, power in any regard, power of yourself, like having like you're just a powerful person, or maybe you're like in a position of power. It just means you have the options to do things that like if to enact like whatever I don't know, whatever will that you want to sort of I don't even know what I'm saying. Basically, John D. Rockefeller was powerful in this, not because he wasn't good at talking. There are so many accounts of John D. Rockefeller being just this master wordsmith on the spot when he was being cross-examined during his antitrust trials. He would give like the most precise answers that would not uh,
we're going to
make
have
him
to cut.
subject to, yeah.
All right, guys, we'll see you after the break.